Hi folks, I'm here today and I'm going to be doing a VR for DutchKnifeGuy for his 100 sub comp, and it's a well-deserved. DutchKnifeGuy, I mean, whenever I have a video, he always has very nice remarks about my video, and very nice gentleman. So we're doing this VR. It's much well deserved for him, and today I'm going to be making something. I'm actually going to be cooking something. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be doing wild leek potato soup, or a potato leek soup, but I'm going to be using ramps, so it's going to be potato ramp soup. And there's a lot of different versions of this type of soup out there. Now, most of them require all fresh ingredients. Well, I'm going to take a little bit different twist on this. And what I'm doing is more or less a total packable potato leek soup. And this is one that could be carried out in the field on an extended trip. Anywhere between 5 and 2 weeks, out in the, maybe even longer than that, out in the field. So I'm going to be using all different ingredients rather than using fresh stuff. So I'm going to go through. I have all my ingredients packed up in here. Now the ramps are going to be something that's going to be acquired out in the field, so I don't need to package them up in here. So I'm going to be using the ramps as I harvest them out in the field. The rest of this is all my ingredients that I'm going to be using for this potato leek soup, and I have it all packaged up in this Cool Whip container. I use a lot of these in my Cool Whip or hard top containers to house different meals. A lot of times I'll write the ingredients on it, or the recipe ingredients on it. If this way, when it comes the next time I need to make the meal, I can automatically just fill in what needs to be filled into the container. So for this one here, I have a few different ingredients in this container. I have some dried milk, which I'll be using. It's actually, we're going to use it as a cream, so we're going to mix it into a cream consistency rather than for milk. I have some olive oil in here. You can use ghee, you can use butter. Butter's not going to be hold up very well unless it's cooler out. So I'm going to use olive oil. I think it's going to work out pretty good with that. I have 1 dehydrated onion in here, and I have my potatoes, which I dehydrated as well. The potatoes are a little bit trickier. You have to blanch them, and then before you put them in your dehydrator. And both of these items, the onions and the potatoes, were about probably 12 to 16 hours, I guess, in my dehydrator. The potatoes you can actually buy the potatoes as well. If you didn't want to do it yourself, you can get them. It would be like a scalloped potato in the grocery store. My main reason, other than being shelf stable, would be it's very light. I'm not carrying around potatoes with me. I'm not carrying around an onion. All this stuff is super light. I cut my potatoes to be about an 1/8 inch thick before I blanched them, and then I put them in my dehydrator and that's them. This is about 2 potatoes, and this is 1 medium small onion. And in here I have just some pepper, white pepper. Now I normally carry black pepper and salt and a little seasoning spice in my in my canoe pack. But I wanted some white pepper for this recipe, so I just a little bit, about 1/8 of a teaspoon or so of white pepper. I just noticed that I'm missing one ingredient in my container here. I absent-minded when I packaged it, and I have it actually inside my house. I'm actually filming this out in my camper right now. It's very windy outside. It's noisier in my house, so this is the quietest spot I could find to do this VR. For right now, I'm going to be moving outside, but for right now when I'm talking, doing a lot more talking, I'm just doing it inside to cut down on the wind noise. So my other ingredient that I'm missing, actually, I forgot my chicken broth. Okay, I carry 2 chicken broth cubes with me. I'll only need 1. I'm hoping I'll only need 1, but I brought 2 just in case. I'm gonna have fresh water with me, and the item that I'm missing is I have 2 strips of shelf-stable bacon with me. That's the item that I misplaced out of this, and I'm gonna go in and get it in a few minutes. So this is what we got going on. We're gonna get set up here and start getting these rehydrated. We're gonna get the onions rehydrated, we're gonna get the potatoes rehydrated, and we're gonna mix up our cream, and we're gonna make our bouillon, and then we're gonna get to making some soup. So stay with me, folks. All right, I'm back again. I got the items that I was missing, and this is working out pretty good, being inside here. So I'm gonna do a lot of my prep work actually here, just so you folks can see what's going on rather than me competing with the wind and all the noise outside. So I'm gonna get I want to get my potatoes and my onions rehydrating. So I'm actually going to use the container that I stored them in. I'm going to put it in there, and we're going to put this in here, and we'll get some water going in. So we're going to let these soak and rehydrate. And we do have our bacon. Okay, so while that's rehydrating, I needed to get my ramps. So earlier I foraged for some ramps, and I was out in my wife's kayak. It was a windy day, so I didn't go out in the canoe. I used the kayak, and I got some ramps. And the ramps are right here. And I'm going to use, I want about a cup worth of the ramps. Now I got like 2 bunches here, but I'm not going to use the whole leaf on these. I'm just going to use the bottom part. Now there's I was investigating a lot of different recipes out there, and some people would say only use up to the green, and some people would say you can use the whole green, and there's just like more different recipes with people calling to do different things. Well, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get the roots off, and there's kind of like a little slimy end to them, and I'm going to take that slimy end and the root off, and then what I'm going to do is actually slice this up. And I'm going to get up here, I'm going to slice this up to right around in here in the ramp, and I'm going to use from here all the way up to, I'm going to use like the stem part. So I'm making a compromise with what most people said now, and when I get to about a cup worth, that will be enough for my soup. So I'm going to work with these ramps here, and we're gonna get slicing them up, and then hopefully this is rehydrated, and then we're gonna move outdoors and get to cooking some soup. So stay with me, and I'm gonna get this stuff cut up and ready to go, and then we're gonna move outdoors. All right, so I got my Stanley cups here to help me out, because I'm gonna be using a lot of different cooking utensils today to get this all made up. And this is actually measured here, so I'm gonna put my ramps after they're cut up in here, and then I'm gonna take it from there. I'm gonna use a pot on top of my, I'm gonna use what I'm gonna use is my little wood burning stove. I'm not gonna use a open fire today. I want to try to use something that most people are going to carry along with them out in the field, as opposed to some people can't use an open fire, but a lot of people can have they're going to have a small camp stove with them. They might not have one like mine, but they're going to have a small one that they can actually do all this in, rather than doing it on an open fire. So that's about it. We're going to get going on some of these, and I'm going to actually have my small charade, which I carry all the time, with me to cut these up. And I'm just going to cut them up into small pieces until I get about 1 cup's worth. And you can see that I'm going up all the way up to the probably like the stemmy part of where the stem ends with the leaf. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to save these leaves, and I'm going to blanch them, and I'm going to mix them with some olive oil, and then I'll freeze them up and use them for something else at a later date, rather than using these in the soup. They tend to be very potent, and I really don't want them that potent in my soup, so that's what we're going to do with the rest of them. So stay with me. I'm going to get this up and going, and then we'll get moving out.
So I'm trying to get the show on the road here, because it looks like it's going to storm outside. But I got everything set up. Real quick, I got my cook pack over here. I got some wood for my wood stick stove. Now I'm going to be using my Purcell grill with my Super Sierra. I've got it elevated, it's more sturdy, that way the Super Sierra tends to be tippy, and it can also allow me to do a simmer and still keep the stove roaring pretty good. Over here I have about my 1 cup of ramps, and I did slice up my bacon, I got my bouillon, I got my potatoes in there, my creamer, and I've got my pepper, and I'm going to use this as my stove lid, my cutting board, all my paraphernalia ready to. So we're going to get some water going, get the bouillon going, and then we're going to start mixing stuff up. So I'm going to get this Sierra going, and stay with me, and all right,
I got the Sierra going. We're gonna get a little bit more wood in here. I want to get my water going. This is the busy part. Stick stoves. Keeping the stick stove going. Yeah, that should be good for a little while. So I want about 8 ounces of water. I'm at about 24 right now. All right, so that should do for that. I'm going to drop our bouillon in it. Start getting that dissolving.
bit. Alright, so to save on some battery, as soon as this is dissolved, we'll get it back rolling. Alright, so our broth is all dissolved, and it looks like it's doing a pretty good simmer. I want to add my potatoes and my onions to it next. Now I did dice up my potatoes to be so they're smaller. I'm going to add these into my mixture. I might have a little bit too much of potato. I didn't measure my potatoes. I took them out of the dehydrator, and that's just the way I did that. So it might be a little bit more than 2. It's pretty close, so. There, so there's our potatoes. I'm actually going to saute these up as well. So, and there's our ramps. So I'm going to saute these up until they're soft inside my pot. Now, it's not going to hurt to add our bacon as well. We're going to get that out of the way. It's not going to hurt it. The bacon's just an enhancer to it. So, we're going to get our creamer going as well while we're waiting for this to do. So this is going to be, we're going to make about a cup worth of creamer. And what I did is I used 1/3 cup of dry milk ingredients. So this will come out to, this will make a good cream to add at the end for our, when we mix it together. That will give it the creamy consistency. So we're going to go to the that should do it. There's our spoon. I have a lot of my other cook gear all packed away, so it was easy just for me to do it like that. Not as quite as creamy as I'd like it, but still could be a little creamier. It has more of a milk consistency right now. I probably added a little bit too much water to it, but we'll let it set up. Alright, so much in my haste of trying to beat out the rain, I should have added my oil and sauteed my ramps and my potatoes just for a minute or two, and I just realized that I had omitted that out of the beginning and went right to adding my broth because I had my broth ready. Not a big deal. I'm just gonna let the ramps and the potatoes just sit in the broth, absorb. You know, I'm just keeping it. It's actually at a simmer right now. It's not even boiling, even though my stick stove's roaring. I have it everything above the sweet point anyway, so it's just simmering right now. And my definitely when you add your water to your dairy mixture, now I have a better consistency. You want to go easy with the water because you want it to be creamy rather than just adding too much water and ending up with the milk. I'm looking for more of a creamer consistency, which I did add a little extra to that because I got hasty with my my water as well. So definitely learning as I go along with this as well. Cooking outdoors as opposed to being inside, I'm rushing around. It would help if I had set my tarp up, but anyways. All right, so my potatoes are starting to come up pretty good. This is something I carry in my cook pack for when I have an open fire. It doesn't matter. It's always good to have that in my cook pack. I got a lot of goodies in that. But my potatoes are starting to come up. So what I want to do is, a lot of the potato leek soup, people puree it. I don't have the option when I'm out in the field. So I got this big beast that I had thrown in my cook pack, but you wouldn't need this. You could use your spoon. What we're trying to mash up the potato a little bit to give it more of a creamy consistency as well. You could use a piece of stick. A small whisk would work great. Well, I think it would work great. Or a miniaturized version of something like this. What I'm going to do is, I just want to start mashing my potato up a little bit. And I'm going to mash this up to help break that down. That will help give it just a creamier consistency. I really don't think that it's necessary for the flavor. It's more of a just for the consistency part. When you're cooking out in the field, I think it's going to taste great just the way it is anyways, with the potatoes and the leeks and the bacon. And I got to pay attention to my stick stove here, keep it going. But it looks like it's coming up pretty good. We'll have it on for a few more minutes. I'm going to do a little bit more with it, and then I'm going to go along and add my creamer to it and my pepper. All right, so that's our potatoes and our chicken broth and our ramps all mixed. All right, I actually had to change SD cards here. I don't know why. It said it was full. I guess it was full then. But here's the leek soup, potato leek soup. The Sierra's dying down. The soup came up very well. I don't know exactly where I left off, but you can see the creamy consistency now of the soup. We're gonna pull it, and we're gonna have a little bit of this. We're gonna try a little bit and see how it come out. So let me get this situated. All right. I'm gonna shut this down. I don't know how much time I actually have on that SD card either, so I'm just anxious to test this too. This was for 2 servings, so this is for myself. I'm not sharing today, just the video. That came out really good. That came out very good. A little piece of tree bark or something. Very good for having the potatoes be dehydrated. That was my one concern, that doing it from this way as opposed to having just a regular potato and sauteing that up. But Excellent. So anyways, I just want to say thank you to DutchKnifeGuy for his channel and for all the nice comments that he leaves on my videos. And cheers to you, buddy. Thank you. Man, I'm hungry.